What's going on, guys? It's your girl, Jamila Mustafa, and I'm here with Vibe. Joining me today is the Grammy Award-winning international R&B sensation known for her vocal prowess and her viral hits. She is one of the best R&B voices of our generation and possibly of all time. But right now, it is her time. Brand new album that is out right now. Do you still love me? Because you know we do. Ella May, thank you for your time.
Thank you for that intro. That was great.
Come on.
You had that. You were ready. You had it. I love that. Thank you.
That's it. I mean, because the whole thing about a career, right, especially yours, is you want to address not only where you're at, but where you want to go. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, when it's all said and done, make sure more is done than said. And Ella May.
I like that quote. I've never heard that quote.
No, come on.
I like that quote.
You can use that
good.
quote.
Yeah, I'm gonna
okay. And as I was about to clock that T, this album, you did what needed to be done.
Thank you.
Now, before we get into the greatness, okay, because you look absolutely incredible. I'm like, it's still giving 21 and having fun.
Oh, thank you, because I don't feel that way. Like what we were just talking about. I'm 31 now, and I definitely don't feel 21. So thank you. Everything definitely feels different.
Okay, well, we stop talking about age. Let's move on, because one thing I do have to talk about is this project. But before we get there, you know, when you talk about your trajectory, you've accomplished so much. Grammy Award winning artists, international performers. You know, in terms of songwriting and the accolades. But it all started like 10 years ago. You know, when you talk about Instagram, if you slept on the power of Instagram, wake up and apologize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about your social media start from Instagram to Mustard to that first record.
Yeah, it's actually funny because I don't like social media that much. Like, I'm definitely like, I like to kind of go away in my corner when I can. But at the time I was like 20 years old, and I don't know what possessed, like I just had this idea in the shower one day, and I was singing in the shower, and I was like, you know, I should record this. And it was at the time when Instagram just released Instagram videos, so you could only post 15 seconds. Remember, like now you can, you know, reels can be as long, but you could literally only have 15 seconds. So I was like, I kind of have to make this like count in this 15 seconds. And I just started posting covers that were like really big songs at the time. And I just started to kind of pick up traction, and blog pages, were posting me. And that's how Mustard came across my page. And it kind of just like everything that was happening, I didn't really realize what was happening at the time. Like as it was happening, I just kind of knew that I had to keep going. And then Mustard and I did a session out here in New York, which was, 10 years ago now, which is so crazy to even think about. And we made 3 songs. And at that point, I didn't have management. I was literally just singing into my phone, like off of a YouTube backing track. And we did these 3 songs that night. And I like didn't know where it was gonna go. He could have just given the songs to someone else. It could have just been like, oh, cool, it was nice to work with you type of thing. And he was just like, I really love what you did. I want to get you out to LA. Let's work more. So I was like, you know, of course. And I kind of went back and forth to LA for a little while. And then I signed to him. And then like everything basically happened. Yeah.
When Mustard invited you to the studio and you made those 3 songs, like you said, nothing I was expecting.
Right. But
it was something about that moment that you had to trust your gut at everybody and say, you know what, it's something here. I know it's hard to describe because there's no way to describe a gut feeling. That's why it's your gut.
Yeah.
But if you can try to describe it for an artist that's really not sure, and a lot of people are coming knocking and everybody's retweeting this song, but it's that one person, how do you really know? Because he didn't come to you with a contract. He just said, let me see what you can do in the studio.
Right.
But you took that seriously. How did you perceive that?
I mean, I think at the time, especially, I was taking everything seriously. Like I had been in other sessions with other people, and I had like taken the meetings, like you said, but something just felt really different about Mustard. Like he seemed the most serious, I will say, but also just on a like genuine connection level. Like it didn't feel super businessy, and I think that also kind of made me like, okay, I feel safe in this environment. You know what I mean? Like I had my friends with me because I didn't have management, and I didn't feel super intimidated, or like I didn't feel like this kind of feels like he just sees money, or, you know, like it really felt like he was interested in my story. He was interested to see what we could do. And it also felt like he was interested to kind of step into a new lane for himself also. And I think that's what made the difference. And even like the first times that I was going out to LA, before I even moved there and before I even signed, I was like around family and like, and it just felt like, okay, this is somebody who like really, really wants this to work, but also isn't like, it was enjoyable. Like we could have really good conversation. And my brother was with me when I would go to LA, and like it wasn't like my brother was just to the side.
What did bro say? Because he probably observed. He's an observer.
Very observant, and he was also on the same page. And like they never made him feel like it was just it just always felt right. And I think that gut feeling, like you were saying, is really important, because I had been in other like previous situations and nothing like serious, but like where I was just like, I don't know, like this is a good opportunity, but I'm like not 100%. And I think it's really important to trust your gut. So yeah, it just felt like safe and felt like the right thing to do. And I think I can only thank God for that, honestly, because it was definitely obviously the right decision, but I know God allowed us to cross paths for that exact reason. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that story. And like you said, sometimes it's just as simple as that. You got to take that first step. And then when those little cars just keep aligning and those little signs just keep clicking, just ride it in. I mean, it was bound to happen. That's what they say, the inevitable. And so we got to talk about it. Here we are now, after the Grammys, after performance. And I love where you are, Ella Mai, because you've been there, done that. You still want more, but you are almost, in a way, like I said before, it's a full circle, this 10-year of completion. I was there in New York City. I don't know the venue, but it was like super small. You had a male hairstylist who was friends with my friend. We were all in entertainment. And she was like, Milla, pull up. Already a big fan. And it was so intimate. Like it was so like you were here. And it was like, it was an intimate room. But when I tell you, one thing I miss about that is we all knew the words. It was just it's that, I don't know if you remember that New York stuff. It was like between that 2017, maybe 18.
I think
around
it was.
then.
I'm trying to remember the name of the venue. I can see it. It might have been something. It was something in Williamsburg.
It was very small, or it was. I knew I live in Harlem, so it was a ways away. It's about 30, 45.
Yeah,
I can't remember the venue.
I don't remember what the name of the venue is, but I can see it.
It was just a brilliant evening, and I say that to say is that this album, it's a certain type of, not hunger, but it's I felt that, right? And so let's just go through the album, because I kind of want to have this conversation. I don't know you personally, but through knowing you as an artist, you can tell that you do like to talk probably around your friends, but you talk through your music. And so it's like, I can ask you a question, but if I really listen and we go through this album, we can have a better conversation.
Absolutely.
Right? So one, love it.
Thank you.
It might even pull out the track list, but Do You Still Love Me? Let's talk about the title, right? Because naturally, you're not talking about a person, it's naturally it's the concept. And you hear that theme throughout the album, where you're touching on two things, perspective and relationship. And what does that look like? Why that theme? Why that title for you?
The theme, I think, really was just like, it's kind of like what I've always spoken about, but I feel like it just feels like a lot more mature on this album. And I would say, I think I'm just like a lot more mature than I was when I was recording my debut or my sophomore. And I've taken 4 years in between each of my albums. So like, that's a long time. And you can definitely, like, a person changes in a month. So let alone 4 years. But really just like, it was my life in real time, and it was kind of what I was going through. And I wanted to take everybody on that journey with me, and kind of like try and dive a little bit deeper into me. The title, we really like struggled to come up with this title. I'm not even going to lie. We couldn't find it. We had finished the album, had the track list together and everything. And Mustard and I were still like, we just couldn't find something that felt like it told the story well enough. And Mustard was like really vouching for a different title. And he was and I said to him like, okay, why do you think that should be the title? And I remember, I don't remember what the title was, but I remember like not liking it at all. And I was like, no, I just like, it's something about it is just not sitting right with me. So I was like, why do you think that should be it? So he starts explaining it. And he's like, because if you say that, then you can ask the questions, or somebody can ask you the question like, do you still love me? Or do you still, and I was like, wait, that's the title.
Bingo.
And he was like, what? And I was like, do you still love me? And then he took a second to think about it. And then he was like, that's actually kind of hard. That's fire. So then after that, I was like, wait, that makes perfect sense. And then it kind of just stuck, and we rolled with it. And I think I like it also because it can be a closed question. It could literally be like, do you still love me? And then somebody could say yes, or somebody could say no, but it could be very open-ended also.
And it can also be like a statement. Like have you ever like been in a situation where it's an action and somebody pose a question like, so you ain't not my friend.
So yeah, it's
almost
like a rhetorical.
statement.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
rhetorical.
based on that, like, do you still love me?
Yeah.
Period. Exclamation point. Question mark. And that's the energy. Also, because I'm pulling up the album, right? I don't know notes because I'm talking about everything from there, because we're gonna start off. Of course, we got the 100, but my mind is Somebody's Son, and we're gonna go to that one, and we're gonna talk about the songwriting and all of those things. But with the tracks, the album, You and Mustard really coming together once again. I think outside of the title, it's important to know, like you said before, it's not just a producing relationship. This is rare in our time, from the production to the songwriting to curating. It's almost a connected tissue.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of like what we used to have back in the day, like the music that we grew up on. Like a lot of artists had their go-to producer, or had that relationship with their producer who like understands their sound and knows like what brings out the best in them or what doesn't necessarily work that well. And that's something that I really appreciate, because I know Mustard is always going to be honest with me. So like I can go in and I could love something and I'm like, yeah, and he could be like, I'm not too sure about that. But he also will be like, but if you love it, then I'm down to, like back you if that's what you think. But my advice is like, this might not be it. And then I'll, think about it twice. But I know he's always going to be honest, and he's always going to like make sure I'm trying my best. So yeah, I do appreciate that.
Could you see a LMA without Mustard?
Without, like fully without?
I mean, of course, friendship, you guys are like locked in. That's like family, brother, cousin,
that's
all of that.
literally my brother.
But I mean, in terms of as an artist, as a music artist, eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I can't see myself without him at all.
Yes,
like
of course.
we've my sophomore album, and Mustard has always allowed me to work with other producers. He's never always like, I have to produce every single record. He's always allowed me the creative freedom to kind of like do what I want, really. This one we collectively wanted to like go back to how our EPs were and just like do it together. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it without him, if that makes sense. Like I think I'm very capable, yes. But that's just like, that feels safe. Even if I had an album that was another album that was 14 songs and I had 13 different producers, I still need that one. I just couldn't. How can I put this in the right way? I think that Mustard has helped me create my sound and my confidence a lot as an artist. And even just like we've been on this journey together, I feel like it would be doing him and myself a disservice to.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
And sometimes, and I think that's what I'm taking in, it's a certain sense of groundedness, right? And it's a balance between taking in what people say and their suggestions and feeling it, but also it's like sometimes you don't need everything to be new or everything to be trying something different and doing something different. And that's also, LMA, why I truly appreciate this album, because it wasn't like, okay, we had the 4-year hiatus, right? In terms of the album, during this album, and I'm telling you, I haven't had a child yet, but like when you said during making this album, this is when you were pregnant around that time. And, as a fan, we got to do timelines as a woman. So we do the timeline. Yeah. And I'm like, those hormones was hitting because the vocals was on point.
Thank you.
When you drop that voice in certain songs, I'm gonna go, when you drop that voice, my theme song when I played it when you came in. Yeah, no, you go low, no. Then you smoothed it out. When you talk about that and spending that time, as you're because it's like you're able to do things physically, they say.
Yeah, it's funny because they also say like it's a possibility that you can like lose your voice when you're pregnant. And not like you can't speak, but like it changes so much within your body that it can change your voice. It can make your voice sound deeper. It can make your voice sound higher. It could also like change your tone, which is the craziest thing to even think about, because there's so many other things that happen in pregnancy anyway that it's just like, all right, what else? Like I remember when I was pregnant, like I felt like if I would go to my doctor and say like, oh, I was, growing another finger, she'd be like, oh yeah, that's normal. That's pregnancy. Like it's just so many things can happen. And I was like a little bit worried because I'm like, damn, this is my livelihood. Like I don't want, as much as I'm so happy to be in this position and I'm blessed, I don't want anything to change with my voice or, but luckily I feel like it really helped. And it also helped me. Yeah. It helped me tap into like another level of emotion also, which was really, really cool. But
and you felt it, right? Because you were able to hold the emotion, and most time with singers, you almost hear the voice crack and when they're in that studio breaking down, you were able to secure the emotion and hold that vocal prowess. And we were screaming as I'm listening to. I'm like, go Elevate, go. That's my girl.
Thank
She
you.
gave us one, and I can't wait for an intimate concert. You made that album for the arenas, of course, but also you made it so that it's you, the microphone, the audience, real vocals, real power, real business.
Thank
you.
you.
You're welcome. Gotta ask you one thing, right? Little things. I loved it. You talking about packing the bag, cleaning the jewelry. I'm like, yo, I was like, cause but you know what I mean? It's like, that's diamonds, like cleaning jewelry. And I love those things when you really listen to the music. It's not just like little things. It's like very specific. And you can, even in that, which I thought was a cool parallel because it's you saying, it's not the big things, how I'm specific, it's the little things. And so I just have to ask you as a person, what are 5 little things that LMA loves, or 5 little things that
I don't like?
Yeah, it can be little, but if you didn't put that mint in, don't wonder why I ain't talking.
Okay, I'll start with like, one thing I really do like is just if I feel like if you're like thoughtful. Like I would much rather a thoughtful, like, I don't know, something that's personalized or something that like you could even like make me a card as opposed to going and buying me like, I don't know, a Birkin or something. Like I'm not, they're nice, don't get me wrong, but I would much prefer, like I would feel a lot more appreciated if I received something that I felt like a lot of thought went into. Like, okay, cool, she likes handwritten things, or she likes, things that aren't necessarily super expensive, but like I know I thought about this and I took time to make this. That's one. That's kind of a whole bunch, but yeah.
No, because and when you said that, but yeah, I was gonna stop you too, because that's like a 2-in-1, because most people say, okay, no, I thought to buy you the Birkin. I saw you talk about Birkin and I thought about it.
Like, yes, you did think to buy me the Birkin, let's say that. But like, it didn't take a lot of thought. It's more so just like, okay, cool, I swiped my card. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound ungrateful. I appreciate any gift, because at the end of the day, it is like, you're at the end of the day, you're spending money on me, or you're like thinking of me. But I would much prefer like to sit down and you like, I don't know, made me a card, or like made me a little box and there's like tiny little things in there.
You want some do it yourself. I need you doing it yourself.
And that's how, I think that's because that's how I am as a person. Like I like to make little boxes, or like I love to handwrite cards and stuff like that. So I would much prefer that. Now, I do like the other stuff, don't get me wrong, but I would much prefer that.
Okay, we're getting to know you, so that's one thing.
Yeah, a little thing I don't like.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. Probably...
and very little. Remember, like? So all the big ones, don't put the big ones. Just, I'm talking about really little stuff that even people might not even know it. And everybody around you gonna be like, damn, I just did that yesterday. I didn't even know Shane like it.
I can't do dry skin. Is that a little thing? That's actually kind of a big thing. I can't, no, not you.
Today. Okay, good. Do the dry check. But that's no, in this wintertime, please break it down.
No, it
a
is
lot
like,
of people are ashy.
It is extremely cold outside. I will say that. But like one of my pet peeves, I swear to you, I like, why are you looking at me like that?
Look at everyone.
I'm not throwing shade at you. She's fit.
I told you.
My manager's having a guilty conscience right now.
I told you, so did I. No, but I love that you said that, because it's so small, and but that's why it's the little things.
I don't know. It actually might be a big thing now
that
I think about it. But like, yeah, it really irritates me.
Me too.
But not to the point where I would just say something. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm not gonna let you walk around ashy. Like I'm gonna be like.
Now, question.
Fix that
real quick before we get to the next one, because that was, incredible. For me, it is. It's an area. Now, the lips. If the lips are, is there any particular area, or is it just ash?
I mean, it's just ash, period. But if dry lips. Oh yeah, no, I can't.
You are hilarious, and
like,
I bet
if you ever see me with dry lips, like chapped lips, SOS, something's wrong. Something is wrong if you ever see me with dry lips.
What about when you were pregnant? Because people say, as a mom, you don't care. They say you don't care about the feet are ashy. They just say, I don't do my hair. Lips. The baby takes everything from me.
Yeah, I probably maybe wasn't doing my hair like that, but like, as in like my hair to look like this. I would put my hair in a bun or whatever, but my lips, they cannot be dry. No, like dry skin is it might be, it seems like a little thing, it's kind of a big thing, but like, yeah, I can't do dry lips or dry skin. Please, lotion.
Okay.
Yes.
And I was gonna give 5, but you're giving me too many good ones, so I'll just get one more final one.
Okay.
And then I want to keep.
That's a good little thing for me.
That was great.
What's another little thing for me? I like a good morning text, which is small.
Yes.
And I don't need like grand rising queen or anything like that. I just need just a like, okay, cool. When you woke up, the first thing you thought about was me, like, good morning. How did you sleep? Type of, yeah.
Okay, now, because it's a science to your logic. Question: what happens if the person's? It's kind of like if we're not together and I get the flowers, that's great. But for some reason, if we now maybe live together, they in their mind the flowers. So it's like, if I'm with you, do you still need the text, or are you the kind of person where when you about 3 hours later, when we're no longer together, then you send the text? How does the text?
I mean, yeah.
When should you receive it?
It would be more so, yeah, if we're not together. Because if we're together, then you would say good morning in the morning. But like, I'm definitely like, don't leave the house without saying bye. Like, I need some type of form of communication in the morning, whether we're together and that's a like, good morning, how did you sleep? Or like, okay, I'm leaving, see you later, kiss, whatever. If we're not together, then yeah, a little like, good morning, how did you sleep type of thing. Yeah, I'm big on communication. Yes. So just checking in those little things. Even if like I have a song on I'm sure we'll get to it, but I have a song on the album that's called First Day, where it's just like, you know, when you're busy, I wait on that call to say you miss me. And I think it's just like, even if I know there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, if you just tap in, even if it's for 2 seconds, literally like, oh, I'm having a busy day, but like just thinking of you, or like, you know, how's your day going? I know you've been busy, but like text me later type of, you know, just little
It has
splashes.
to be, because in the wait, and that's so good to like, one is just like, just getting to know you, because it's consistent. If you watch or you've seen you perform live in 2017, even 2016, maybe 2015 is when the music broke. 2016 is around the mustard. 2017 was, I mean, that's like, it was Ella Mai's world. Booed up, okay? It was Ella Mai's world. But I say that to say, you know you, right? And so 10 years later, the voice is still there.
Thank you.
The personality, and like you said, these themes throughout the music, it stands true to your authenticity. Like, hey, you know, like you said, even that line, it came so naturally, because it's like, some people, it's a lot, but you're like, hey, it's a small thing, but it means so much. And I say that to say is because little things is like, it's just like your career when we started the conversation. It's these little things. It was these moments with Mustard that added up, and it matters. I want to move on throughout the album, because one thing I love, true to R&B, and you gave, you know, and you know, it's corny, but I was going to do it, but I can't. If I could do it, I would do it anyway. I can't do the accent. So I'm not even going to try. I don't even, like, I know it's corny at this point. You're like, I've been out 10 years, like, okay. Have you not heard anyone else?
You know, some people still are like, oh my gosh, she has a British accent.
So you know what I'm getting to is, I mean, you know this album better than me, maybe, because I listen to it a lot. But when you left audio message, and I love it because that track allowed you to just talk. So even because it's almost like you don't even hear an accent. So if people even are listening to this album and just hear you speak, they're gonna be like, whoa. And it's like, even the cadence, the swag in it. You know, when you talk about even like, how's it going down, even though it's not the same conversation, but you remember those, the DMX intro, or the Tony Braxton, you know, when Dre was at the phone.
It feels very nostalgic to like the music that we grew up on. And I feel like it's an unpopular opinion, because I think a lot of people are like, please don't talk at the end of your songs. Because I always used to talk at the end of my songs on my EPs. But like, I've definitely dialed it down, I will say, but I didn't want to take it completely out at all, because that's just me. That's just who I am, and that's what I like to do. I like to tell a story with my music, but also I like to add those little things in. And like you said, like, those feel nostalgic. And sometimes it can kind of also break up an album in a way, like how we did it on Do You Still Love Me is kind of, I speak about being a Scorpio, and it's because I'm flipping from like the lover girl Scorpio to almost into the other side a little bit of the Scorpio. So it kind of bridges the gap a little bit. So I was like, I could make a song about it, but I also feel like it didn't need to be like a 3-minute thing. I could just quickly have my little 40-second, I think it is, audio message where I'm like, that's really a voice note that I would send to my friend, because like I'm a big Scorpio, and I ride for Scorpios very hard, and we're very misunderstood. So I was like, I need to put this in there so you guys understand, and then flip it into Luckiest Man to show like the other side. Like, yes, cool, I can be a lover girl, but like, let's not forget.
hold on, I gotta hold the seat because on Luckiest Man,
I know that's your song.
And I mean, it's just they all are. First of all, outside too. Don't forget about outside, and we want to talk about those parallels. But in Luckiest, but let's rewind it back because so many people when they first meet me, they'll say, "What's your sign?" And I always feel bad. I don't know what that means. Signs is a big thing, and so when you look, you was about to say it right now. When you dedicate like on that audio, and you're like, "I'm a Scorpio." Like it was almost like you were talking to people explaining it, but yet again, you're not explaining yourself, you're telling us, hey, like, no, like we love we do. It was like, wow, a Scorpio. I was like, whoa. And you almost described Scorpios, but you were also describing kind of yourself.
Yeah.
And even like the warning song, I think it's Might Just. Because even with Might Just, it was like so many subliminals to, when you talk about folding the clothes and being one of the best people and outside, like when you're like, I'm not like that. You know what I mean? Go, everybody listen, because you are one of the references. You know what I mean? Go listen. It's incredible. When you hear this album, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You can tell you spent the time on it. But outside is kind of like, okay, like, it's outside, but also outside meaning relation. Outside meaning, you don't mind doing that, but you just might. I just might. Go listen to that song. Because it's like, I just might do it.
And that's why I put
and then
the
Scorpio
audio message
was like,
in there.
Right, the audio. So that's why I said it's a quick piece.
Mm-hmm.
But if you pay attention in the position and it ties it in. And so for someone who doesn't understand signs, and for someone who doesn't understand the parallels and those things, when you talk about being a Scorpio, what does that really mean? And how does who you are show itself specifically in the music and on this album? What is Scorpio-ish about the album?
I think the biggest thing about a Scorpio is like, and it's definitely kind of a misconception. I'm not sure how into signs you are, but like I think,
know nothing.
Okay, yeah. We get a bad rep. Like people think that we're just like super jealous and super like what's the word?
Envious? Haters?
Not haters, but just like demons. Crazy.
What?
Crazy. No,
is that
yeah.
a thing,
I think
LMA?
we have
Not you.
we get a bad rep. We're like everyone thinks we're jealous and we just like I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. What is it? Oh, possessive. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. People think we're super possessive and like
you just pushed that one out your head.
This is what people think, and I think there's a thin line between being like possessive and being territorial. Now, I will say I do think, and there's a difference. I do think Scorpios are territorial, but not to the point where we're like, well, let me speak for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, let me speak for myself. Me as a Scorpio, I'm territorial for sure, but I'm not possessive. Like I'm not, I don't think that, I think that word, I just don't like that word.
Yes.
I don't like that word. And I think it's a misconception because we have a really hard exterior. Like we are very assertive, we're very confident. That's what you
literally said in the track.
We're very confident. And I think sometimes people mistake that for like arrogance when it's not necessarily that, it's just that we're confident and we're assertive. But we're also like, if you peel back the layers and really get to know a Scorpio, we're water signs. So we're actually very sensitive and very like emotional. And it just doesn't come across that way when you first meet us. But if you really peel back the layers now, it does take a little while to peel back the layers. I will say we are very guarded. But if you do get the luxury of peeling back the layers of a Scorpio, as I said on audio message, we will probably be the best lover you will ever have. And I think that's also why people, when it goes wrong with a Scorpio, people feel so strongly like we're demons or we're like possessive or whatever else, because it's like we're very intense people.
No, that audio message, it did. Because the way you did it, that's what I'm like, it was like, at the end, it was like you were taking pauses.
Because I just had to
It was like,
I was like, I mean, I can understand why people think we're terrible people, but we're not.
But we're not. She was like, and then it was a misunderstood. Now, basically, I don't like being misunderstood. So you need to understand me. I was like, and then the next one, which is a record that I love them all. But this is the reason why I really like that record as well, because vocally, you do so much. I don't know how many octaves and all, but it was just, you took us low, high, but yet you're always so smooth.
Thank you.
Did you write that record or co-write? Okay, so tell me about the writing of this particular record and what was that studio session like?
Oh, it was fun. I wrote this with one of my favorite people in the world. His name is Prince Charles. And we work a lot together. So it was very much like, it again felt like home. And there were a couple sessions that we were doing where I was like, damn, we've been writing a lot of love songs. Like, this is feeling very lovey. We need to I need to remind people that I'm a Scorpio. And this was the exact conversation.
This
and this was the same conversation we had when we were recording Might Just also. And I was like, we have loads of love songs. And as much as I am a lover girl and I love love songs, I was like, there needs to be a little bit of a balance. Just like throw it in a tiny bit. So Luckiest Man, I remember going into the studio and saying like, I want to write a song called Luckiest Man. Like I had it in my head. I was like, I kind of want to just like it's almost like remind myself, like I've been singing all these love songs and yes, I would do this and I would do that. But like, and you can be that for me, but I also want you to remember I am her too, if that makes sense. So
5'9", brown eyes. What you say? Look.
That's exactly what I said. It was just really fun though.
Yes.
And that was actually one of the quickest ones.
Fun.
Thank you. That was one of the quickest ones, one of the quickest sessions that we had. It came really quickly. But yeah, we were just having fun and kind of just like talking. Can I curse? Yeah, and we were kind of just like talking shit. Like we were kind of just going back and forth, and he was like, "Okay, cool." So I'm like I'm 5'9", have brown eyes. So I was like, "Okay, cool. We're gonna go this route and like kind of describe me, but describe my personality also, and like the things that mean things to me." Okay. And even in the chorus, there's kind of it kind of like is contrary to what I'm saying because I'm like, I could play the game and I choose not to. And I'm like, I could be outside doing things, but I know what love truly means. So it's like, it's almost like, I don't want to say a warning because a warning makes it sound bad, but I'm just like explaining that I'm aware of all these things. And I know you are aware of all these things too, but like, just don't forget, even though I will do the little things for sure. And I don't like to be outside. I'm a homebody. But
listen to the album. You're literally keep going. Yeah.
But it's a choice also at the end of the day. And I think like just kind of, I was just talking my shit real quick. I was like, okay, cool. Let me just put this there just to.
And that's what I love about it. That's why when you came in and it's like, you didn't try to do that, right? You guys didn't go and say, okay, I'm making an anthem. Most people try to tell you, right? Yeah. This song is an anthem for women. This song is for this. You're not, no. You did the record from an authentic place and people can resonate. Yeah. And I think that that's what R&B is when you talk about, women empowerment, it's not a brand. Like for some people it is in 2026. Women empowerment is just being empowered as a woman. It can be empowering others. Or what I love about this album is that it's woman empowerment, but you hear it throughout the album that you're empowering yourself. You're talking to yourself. You're reminding yourself. Even an audio message, whether you said it to someone else, some women talk to them and say, listen, girl, I don't know who they think they're playing. You can talk to, it could be about a job. It could be about anything. I'm about to go in here. And it's just, and some people even have to record it to listen to themselves. And so job well done on the project because
Thank you.
You made it easy to have a conversation, and that's what this album was. It was a conversation.
Yeah, that makes me happy that you feel that way about it because that means I feel like that makes me feel like I like did exactly what I wanted to do, and that's what I wanted it to be like. I wanted it to be like a conversation. I wanted it to feel like me and you sitting down talking in this room right now when you listen. So yeah, that makes me happy that you said that. Thank you.
It's already done went 2 times platinum in the crib. Okay, we got to talk about the accolades because no artist does it for it, right? And if you're smart, you always aspire something that you didn't have, but once you have it, you know that it still shines gold, but you know that it's polished, if you understand what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
As you're creating in that lab, it's almost like that freedom, and you heard it on this album, but yet this to me is Grammy worthy because you're welcome. The production, of course, He put mustard, ketchup. He put all the sauce
all
on
the condiments are definitely
all the
in there.
was on this project, and you did what you needed to do.
Thank you.
When you talk about the state of R&B, like we say, this album is great. This is going to be an exciting year. You're going to hit the road with this. It's just going to be LMA season.
Yes.
On the back, when you talk about R&B, Kehlani brought you out, in those early stages, going back, even women empowerment, supporting all those things, her taking home those Grammys. As a fellow sister in R&B, and you knowing her personally too, what was that moment like, not only as an outsider, but even in those shared conversations, like her energy, like what did that mean for females in R&B?
I think that was extremely overdue. I think she was due years and years and years ago. She's been putting her work in. She's given us great music over the years. But you know, timing is everything, and I'm really happy that. And I think she would probably say the same too. I think that like right now, and especially with a record like Folded, there was no one else they could have given that Grammy to. It was absolutely R&B Song of the Year. And I'm just really, really happy for her. She's always shown me love. As you said, I went on the Sweet Sexy Savage tour with her. That was my first tour. And I saw her before the Grammys at the Brandy and Monica LA stop. Because Monica brought me out and Brandy brought her out, and she gave Brandy like real flowers, and she was like, you know, I just want to give you your flowers, because she's always been very vocal about how much of an inspiration Brandy is. And I said to her, it was actually me, her, and Kelly Rowland having a conversation, which is like a trip anyway to think about.
I was gonna say something, but I was like, let me just let you finish the story.
But Kelly was just saying like, oh, she loves the record and blah, 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 blah. And we kind of just had like a brief conversation about the Grammys. And I said to her, I was like, do you have your speech ready? And she's like, you know, she was just like, I don't know. Like, and she's very humble. So she was just like, I don't know. And I was like, girl, make sure you have your speech ready. And that she did, because she got up there and she killed it with her speech. But no, I'm just honestly, like, it's exciting to see, because I think for a long time, people really, the R&B is dead conversation was like a real topic. And I think that her winning the Grammys, Leon having the year that he had, and just like genuinely, I feel like when it's brought to a stage like that, like Leon was in Best New Artist. And even when you think about like Victoria, when she won Best New Artist, I think that was 2 years ago, like it's a win for all of us when our genre gets put on these platforms, you know what I mean? Like people start to pay a little bit more attention. So yeah, I think it was overdue in terms of Kehlani, but I'm really, really happy for her. She deserved that.
Come on.
Yeah.
And that shared excitement, and we feel like that times like 4.5 with you, because we were like, no, I was liking them posts. No, she got with mustard, because I sent it to my cousin that was out. And so those moments, I want to talk about really quick, your fans, right? And it's unique, and fans, friendly, supporters, whatever word the LMA tribe. How has your relationship with your fans impacted you personally, professionally? What do they mean to you?
Oh my
especially
gosh.
with this album and this stage in your life?
I think that it's always been really important to me to like have these conversations, like when I do my meet and greets, or like if I do pop-ups and people come and like tell me their stories. And so many people would tell me like, oh, I used one of your songs on my wedding day. And I'm just like, your wedding day is like literally one of the biggest days of your life. So to have me incorporated in that, like I just feel, it makes me feel so special, but it also makes me feel like, wow, I'm really making music that connects with people. And that's what my fans have always made me feel like. They've always made me feel really special and really like me and you sitting down here again, having this conversation. And I think a lot of my fans are the same, like around the same age as me. So we've kind of like grown in these last 10 years together, really. So it's been really cool to also see, like, I remember faces. I'm really big on trying to remember people that I've seen before.
Is that a Scorpio thing or that's a you thing?
That might be a me thing. Yeah, I can't say that's a Scorpio thing. It might be, but I think it's definitely a me thing. Because one thing I hate is like to say like, oh, nice to meet you to someone. And they're like, oh, good to see you. And I'm like, damn. That was rude. Like I really try and make sure, and it's obviously impossible to remember everybody's face.
You got such a good heart, because I'm thinking like, you know how many people?
No, yeah, it is really hard, but I try.
They remind you. They'll go, no, LMA, remember when I was 14 years ago?
And they really, and sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't, but like I do try and have those conversations and those experiences with them, because it also, I think it like obviously is a big thing for them, but it's also a big thing for me to feel like people have really, really connected with my music in that way. And that's also why I love to be on tour, because I think the energy in the room when I'm on stage and like having everybody sing the words back, it's just like a feeling that you don't really feel anywhere else. Like it's just definitely an indescribable feeling. So my fans, honestly, I mean, I couldn't have done this without them. Like you said, I couldn't have done this without people sending all the videos to their cousins. And like, you know, we kind of, as artists, we kind of owe it all to the fans, because I can sit here and make music and go to the studio all the time, but if no one listens, then like I would still be proud of it, don't get me wrong, because it's for me also, but like they really allow us to do what it is that we love. So I'm just really thankful that even, like I said, I take these breaks and I come back and people still want to listen. Like that's also not something I take for granted, because especially in this world that we live in where we get new music every Friday, like I feel like people feel like it's really easy to be forgotten. But I feel like my fans have always been really loyal. Maybe I have a lot of Scorpio fans because loyalty is definitely a Scorpio thing, but they all just always show me love and like have patience with me, and I know they get frustrated like, oh, where's the album? Where's the album? Where's the album? We drop the album. They're like, where's the tour? Where's the tour? Where's the tour? Where's the tour? So I think it's just like, just understanding that I like to take my time, but knowing that when I do actually drop something, it's something that I feel extremely proud of and I feel like is ready. And I don't want to put anything out before I feel like it's ready. So yeah, my fans are amazing, honestly. Yeah. There's not one bad thing I could say. They're always so lovely to me.
Love that. What was the hardest truth to tell on this album?
It was probably my song Chasing Circles, which is towards the end. And that song really kind of like describes like postpartum for me.
It features your child.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know whose baby or what kid.
You thought I got a random baby and just put him on the end.
Sometimes they put them on album covers. Yeah. I'm thinking it's the person. They're like, no,
that's my son laughing at the end. Yeah. And that's the reason. Thank you. That's the reason I put him at the end of it, because it's kind of a reminder to myself of that journey of like becoming a mom, and it's like a whole new world. I know you said you don't have kids yet, and people can say it to you before you have kids and you will think you'll understand. But like when it happens to you, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like the newborn, I was doing an interview the other day and I was explaining like the newborn stage was not my favorite in the slightest. Like I'm somebody who really values sleep. So waking up every 2 hours was like really tough for me.
Because you don't have a bag.
Oh, thank you. I try. But in the newborn stage, you don't need there's just no way you can get 8 to 10. So that was like really hard for me, but also just your hormones are going up and down. You now have a human being to take care of. Like you're trying to kind of get back to yourself physically, even mentally. Like it's just a big change. And I think that song really describes like, regardless of what the changes are, I'm always going to be, again, true to myself and bet on myself. So even if I feel like I'm losing my way a little bit, I know I'm going to come back around and be me. But I also feel like in that message, my son taught me a lot because I feel like I'm a lot more of a patient person. I feel like my perspective on life has changed so much since becoming a mom. So I think that was like my most vulnerable, I would say, because I really had to like take myself out of my comfort zone. And I feel like the Ella 5-6 years ago who didn't have a child would never even think to like go into that bag and put that out into the world. And I remember when I first played that song for one of my best friends, he was like, you're not gonna put that out. Like just because he was like, I know how you are and I know how protective you are of things that you really care about, you know?
Said my fans
but I said, I said, you know what? I've been really intentional and trying to dig a little deeper with this. And I was like, let me do this. And I put my son at the end as just like a reminder. And every time I hear his laugh, it like brings back such, great memories. And he was a lot younger when we put his laugh there. So now it's like a whole different laugh, but it takes me back to that time and really reminds me of like, even in the year and a half that he's been alive, how far I've come as not only a mom and an artist, but like as a human being. And it just makes me proud of myself. So yeah, that one was
shout out
the
to
hardest.
Your son, shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to him.
and thank you for sharing that. We're gonna get to the list. But one thing I also loved about, to be honest, personally, how you did it. And thank you for that for us. As fans, I felt like, okay, this is going to be the song. You were a woman of class in terms of even how you were able to share, right? You didn't feel the need to post and say like all that about the pregnancy.
That was the last thing I was
loved it because we got to know you in that way on the album in your own right, in your way. Yeah. And that's the women empowerment thing, okay?
Thank you.
Now, this is my final question because like we said before, this is a journey that we're on. And you had said once, you were like, man, I had a list, right? Still young. But you're like, I checked pretty much. I mean, you probably checked stuff that you didn't even have on the list off the list.
The list was growing as I was getting things. I was like, this wasn't on the list. Yeah.
New era, new album, same LMA. What is now on this list? Do you still love me albums here? You got off the tour, what is on the new list?
I think that my list looks very, very different to what it used to look like. And I think as I've gotten older and as I've become a mom, I think that like the way you look at life and the things that are important to you are so different. Like if I think about the things that were important to me at 21, I probably don't even think about them in my everyday life today. So now when I think about it, definitely just living in the moment more. I feel like with my debut, things were happening so quickly, and just like I couldn't even really understand what was happening because things were happening so quickly. So really trying to live in the moment and like enjoy and appreciate things as they're happening, and still appreciating them once the moment has passed, but understanding that like this is a moment I won't get back. So definitely living in the moment more and appreciating that. And I think also just short term, I will say, obviously, I want to take this album on the road and be able to experience the energy of all the love in the room, and just that I love being on stage. So definitely that. But long term, I think, yeah, just continuing to grow as a woman, as an artist, as a mom, as a friend, like just really continuing to be the best version of myself that I can be in all ways, in all capacities. And understanding that, like, I always say this, but understanding that, like I said, life happens in moments, and there will be things that feel like really big, and there will things that feel really small, or maybe things won't feel at all, you know what I mean? But just understanding that, like, today could be this and tomorrow could be that, and then the next day could be completely different, but appreciating it all for what exactly it is at the time. Yeah.
Come on, Ella May. Listen, they had the Scorpion King, but you're the Scorpion Queen. Okay, you might need to get in that movie.
Thank you.
And you even did a whole rhyme at the end, like I said, known for her lyrical prowess, the Grammy Award winning, the viral sensation, the hit maker, the industry shaker, and international stage taker.
Thank you.
Ella May, thank you for your time, mind, grind.
Thank you for being so knowledgeable. I feel like you said it. You said, I don't know, you might know this album more than me. And I'm like, I mean, you said Little Things was track 5. You're like the audio message. You definitely knew what you were talking about. So I really appreciate that.
Come on, well, listen, you the best. I got to come right. Ella May, you already know. Do you still love me? Yes, we do.
Oh, thank
Album out right now. Make sure you go get 2.